Alrighty, welcome back to the YouTube page and online community. I'm really excited today for you all to hear from Christina Bombay. She's going to be sharing how she can support your family in the pregnancy and postpartum season. So just to start us off, Christina, can you tell us about who you are and what you do?
Yes. Hi, I'm Christina Bombay. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a wife and I have three kids. So I had 13 years of nursing experience in the NICU and have since left the hospital to start my own private nursing practice where I can continue to support families at home in the comfort of their home or online, anywhere from pregnancy and then in the newborn postpartum period. So a lot of the prenatal education, whether it's learning what to expect when you go through the delivery, and then what to expect when you come home and you take the baby home. So being able to support the families during that time is something that I want to do.
Yeah. And I know babies don't come with a manual, so you're like a living manual, right?
Yeah.
Without all the, I don't know about y'all, but I did way too much Googling, way too much Googling pregnancy and postpartum. And if I would have known, like, hey, there's this human being who has so much wisdom and information and like the validation that sometimes you can't get on doom scrolling, So I think it's really awesome that you created this business to support families more intentionally. So I guess that kind of leads to the next question. How specifically do you support new families?
So I do offer one-on-one services or group services, but mostly I can come to their house. Obviously, it's whatever they need me for, so it's based on the family's goal. So
Mhm.
I'll come and I'll do an assessment and I'll do some teaching, and it's going to be based on whatever they need me for. So I can come and teach a prenatal class. I can come and teach a breastfeeding class, or I can come and do like an hourly postpartum support where I can go over all newborn things with you, show you how to do a bath, how to clip their nails,
Mhm.
how to do proper feeding. I can help with breastfeeding, or bottle feeding or formula feeding. If your baby's fussy, what can we do to help the baby not be so fussy? So, a lot of things that are centered around um, when the baby comes home. I have a lot of experience from the NICU, and so being able to support the families, especially new families that have no idea like what to expect or no idea what's normal and what's not normal. This is where I would come in and be that support system for them. There's so much noise on the internet that how do
Mhm.
you really know what is true and what's not true? And also, what works for one mom is not going to work for the next. So, what's nice about what I do, it's based on assessment. So, I will assess the baby, the mom, the family dynamic, and then come up with a plan, how to support their family based on what I see.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's great because I think that I know for sure the learning curve took me by surprise. And as somebody who is like a recovering perfectionist, maybe the best way I can describe it,
Yeah.
being so bad at everything newborn related really took me by surprise. And I think just again, having a human being there to say, hey, like, you're not meant to be an expert at this, and here, let me help you, is something that I think a lot of people are missing nowadays, especially because we're not parenting in villages like we used to.
Mhm.
And we were meant to, like we have evolved in community. So it's so
Right.
isolating. So
Yeah. And these families, like, they really should just focus on their own recovery and then caring for their baby, that all the other things, let somebody come and help you. And so
mhm,
that's where I come in. Like, let me help you with figuring out how to do the feeding, figuring out how to do all these other things so that you can
mhm.
enjoy the time that you have with your baby.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So what do you love most about what you do?
I love educating families, so I think that's the biggest thing for me. I did a lot of education in the hospital, and so being able to do this now, I'm so passionate about the education part of it that, when I do leave a visit, then the family will feel so empowered and so confident in knowing what
Mhm,
to do, how to raise their child,
mhm.
that is the part that makes me feel so fulfilled.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's like putting out your expertise and your wisdom and your support and like just watching them leave empowered. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. So I guess let's say there was somebody on the other side of the screen who is maybe pregnant. We'll start with pregnant. What is something that you wish that they knew just about what's coming soon with their baby?
So probably the biggest thing is if you want to breastfeed your baby, that taking a prenatal breastfeeding class is so very important.
Mm,
Because there's so many things to it. Yes, breastfeeding is natural, but it's not easy. So
mm,
people think just because it's natural, it's going to come easy, but it's not. So taking a class or learning about what to expect and, the challenges with it, I feel like that's something that they can benefit so much from because when you're in it and you're doing it,
mhm,
it's hard. And so, like, okay, I heard the nurse talking about that
mhm,
before. And so I can expect this, like the cluster feeding, like, why is my baby waking up every hour to eat? Well,
mm,
that's normal for them.
mhm,
And so like, being able to learn what to expect and like what to
mhm,
do if certain things arise. I feel like that's the most important thing if you're going to breastfeed. I mean, same with anything. If you're going to learn how to drive, you're not just going to literally get behind the wheel and drive. You're going to take
mhm,
a class to
mhm,
prepare you for driving. So
mhm,
same thing with this. I mean, they kind of like it, you're expected to raise a baby,
mhm.
but getting the education early on so you know what to do when you have that baby, it's going to feel like you have a little bit more control.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that makes a lot of sense because it's like you'll get like the knowledge, and then once the baby is here, that you'll have the experience of it, but at least you'll fall back on the knowledge. Like, okay, it's not
Mhm.
anything that I'm doing wrong. It's
Right,
this, we're both learning how to breastfeed. And I think that's
right.
something when I was like trying to latch and all that, I was
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, this is really hard for me. And
Right.
I went to Facebook doom scrolling instead of a professional. So now I'm telling everybody and literally their moms like, hey,
Yeah,
let's build your village. Let's get other
right,
people here who can
right.
support you.
Yeah.
Mm. And what would you say then to somebody who is already in the postpartum season, maybe 0 to 1-ish year? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to get the support if they need it. They say it takes a village to raise a family because I mean, you can do it by yourself, but you don't have to do it by yourself.
Mhm,
Try to use resources that are available to you. And there's so many resources out there now that are
mhm,
available. And it's just knowing where to go for what you need help with. And it's okay to ask for help. And, it's okay to not have to do everything yourself. And, for your sanity and for the well being of your whole family, I would say that take advantage of the support that's being offered.
yeah, yeah. I think related to that, you made me think of a post I recently made because I do think that living in this society, this like American society that is very big on, individualism and productivity, like we kind of get praised growing up for being able to do things by ourselves, right? Like, oh, wow, you're so independent, or like, wow, like, you climbed all the ladders by yourself or whatever. And then a lot of us get thrown into motherhood and we're like, wait a minute, like I don't know how to do this, but I also never learned how to ask for help,
Right.
or I didn't learn that asking for help was necessary. It was like untangling a lot of those narratives of like, hey, we need to be interdependent in this season. And
Right.
for a lot of us, that could be as simple as like having somebody help us with one piece of parenting and then maybe later on with another piece, and just figuring out where to get started in that process.
Right.
So
Right.
I I agree. So that's why I appreciate you just like letting the people know, hey, we need help. Like,
Hmm.
cannot do this by ourselves. And if
Yeah.
we do try, we burn out.
Right.
And then it's like, ugh,
Right.
I don't know. Like I am not the nicest person to my child when I am burned out. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to break cycles.
Right. And that's why I said earlier, like you want to be able to enjoy it, right? You want to enjoy the process of it and not feel so stressed out and like, oh my gosh, I have to do everything
Yeah.
where you have people that want to help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's like the other side of it too that I'm using a lot of my own experience because I was just there yesterday, sometimes
Mhm.
today, where like I was getting so resentful from YouTubing and learning so much and being like, why is this all on me? And like,
Mhm.
why isn't my partner Googling how to latch? Right. And I was like, well, he doesn't have to latch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we are having different experiences, but my resentment will leak out to my partner, to my children. And I think that's around the time when I was like, okay, I think I need to like figure out how else I can get support. So for me, that looked like, all right, I'm going to introduce formula, I'm going to introduce pumping, because for me, I didn't even think to go to some human being and get. So again, next time I think it'll look different, but we have to like know again where to seek those resources.
Right, exactly.
So what or how can people be in contact with you, your services, and what you offer?
So I do have my website. I'm the Mama Coach. If you can put the website out there for everybody. I'm also on Instagram at themamacoach.christinabombay. My email is christina.bombay@themamacoach.com. And then I also offer a free 15-minute discovery call. So if anybody has any questions to see if I would be a great fit for their family's goal, we can discuss that on the call, and then that's something that they can benefit from. Yeah.
Awesome. And then you are located in San Diego, so your in-person services are San Diego, but virtually you can support all of California.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's good to know. Cool. And then any last words of encouragement or wisdom that you would like to share with this population of new parents or new parents to be?
The postpartum period is a really hard time. And you're navigating so many things that I'm not going to stress enough, like, to ask for help if you need it. There's so many people that want to support you and your family, and so take advantage. If you have the capability to have somebody come to your home and help you, whether it's me or somebody else, please take advantage of it, because we need to help. The other families out there that are going through this hard time that we've gone through before. I've done it 3 times. And so I know that it's so needed. But please just take advantage of whatever you can.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think that we need to be more honest with people about this transition into motherhood, fatherhood, and those postpartum seasons. It is not rainbows and butterflies. It can be beautiful. I am like so grateful for my daughter, and I look back at newborn photos and I'm like, oh, I miss her cute,
Yeah.
cute little squiggly face.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it was a roller coaster. Like the highs were highs and the lows were lows.
Right.
And
Exactly.
just knowing how to buffer against those lows, there is so much evidence that shows support, having a support system.
Hmm.
And a lot of us don't necessarily have, you know, generations of aunts and aunties and, grandparents being able to help us with these things. So that's when we kind of have to outsource and say, okay, who else can be part of the community here? So
Yeah.
I appreciate what you do for all our new parents.
Yes. Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you again. I'll definitely be putting your information all around this video so that people can reach out. And again, if you want more resources like this, you can also reach out to me and I'll connect you both soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.